I'm sitting out here looking at the gym. One of them that's open in Georgia. Let's go over some gym talk. Let's just be a fly on the wall. Here's one of them. Yeah, hell, I needed to take 2 months off anyways. You know, I was going really hard at it. Yeah, I was telling my old lady, I was like, listen here, woman, I've had enough of your lip. I'm going to go back to the gym, okay? She's like, is that because it just now opened back? No. I've been doing other, yeah, whatever, shut up. That's one of them. Another one's like, you know what's crazy is people in the gym, I ain't going back in for a while. My gym in Tennessee ain't going to be able to do shit until like the 29th. You know, and so what you have is a lot of people coming to Georgia, I'd say. But still, you think Planet Fitness was bad before, guys? And they're wiping that shit down. People don't realize this, man. Y'all are damn, you're coating yourself with alcohol over and over. Yeah, we're killing germs. And it's like, no, you ain't. You are soaking your ass in some chemicals that should never be on there. If you are a clean person and eat clean and sweat everything out of you, you know, cheating's all right, but not to stay in it. You gonna be just fine. You know, but now it's like, how the fuck? I don't understand it, but I don't have to, because it's all, you can go to, they have a Corona website. Like the guy said, that's state of the art, that is so big. It's tentacles, like an eyeball and like an octopus, and like, it just goes on and on and on. And it even talks about how the elderly are just getting in the way. You know, it tells you what they're doing. And it also talks about the Corona thing, how they've been working on it for 50 years. When I saw that, it solidified my thinking and about what's going on with this Corona, because it's mocking Revelation, it's mocking Christ, it's mocking everybody. And it has to do with communism too. The wreath, the Corona, and the crown. You know, but with this, what's going on here is what these people that are making everything one. The government you're going to have down the road is going to be the same government they're going to have in all the other countries. But what's slowly, they've hurt the churches, destroyed them, disseminated them. People never read their Bible anyways, and then the ones that went to church hardly ever listened. You know, so we're going to see all of you that kept telling me before all this, oh, just don't worry about what God's telling you to do. Just take the verses and just say whatever it is that you feel like it means to you. And it's like, that's not what it means. Yes, it does. Praise Jesus. I love him. Going Jesus, going home. And it's like, no, you're not. You have to work for that. Just like everybody has to work hard, but we're not into that situation no more, because we've been forced into depending on the shit that we just get free. But in 100 years or 200 years, probably 223 years, what's going to happen is this coronavirus will slowly evolve. It will slowly evolve into a deity, if you will, based off of Saturn, but called Corona. Because the Corona was the 7 rays around the sun of antiquity, you know, representing the 2 luminaries and then your 5 planetary deities. They were gods, you know, so that's the real Corona. It's representing some heavy, esoteric, hidden stuff that if some of y'all resonate your mind with some of this hidden literature and material that's really old and stuff, you will see your lodge, your step work, or whatever it is y'all call it, you'll see it in this literature and you'll go, wow, I know that. And it's like, yep, but now look at what it really means. Yeah. And you'll be like, there's no way. Yeah. You know, they say this organization gets up to $2 million a day donated. Families and heirs, if they don't have nobody to leave it to, they leave these organizations in their land. Well, where do you think we are? We started out in this country with 100 square miles that our government had. Now they have 1/3 of our land. What the fuck happened, guys? 100 square miles to 1/3. On the West Coast, they've burned the shit out of everything. So much, they said you can't even build here no more because it's such a hazard. And it's like there ain't nothing new under the sun. And y'all believe firenadoes, direct energy weapons, hurricanes 900 miles inland, tornadoes that touch down in 1,000 different places like a bomb goes off instead of how a tornado really works. You know what I mean? You take everything that TV says and then you run with it. You come at people like me based off 5 minutes of watching something on Saturn's TV, and then you go and fuck off the rest of your selfish piece of shit life, screaming, I'm right, he's an idiot. Have you looked into anything? No, I'm right. Look at all of us. Look at our fuck off toys. And it's like, that's what I'm saying. You better enjoy this shit that you have, that you call freedom, because it's almost fucking gone. We're going down aisles one fucking way, and people are still saying that I'm crazy. Your businesses, restaurants have been cut in half the capacity. Those independent ones, you better be careful because they can send fucking gangsters out to walk in your shit and say, I'm positive. You're closed for 2 weeks. No drive-thrus, no nothing. Pay attention to the New World Order ones. Your big chains, if they're not opening the fucking lobbies, don't do it. You know why? Because they already know. They all know something. Okay? And once again, all this shit floating around can go through your mask. It can get in your eyeballs. It can get in your asshole without even doing the dirty. Okay? You can get anything anywhere, but this design is so small that the only way that we can be taken out is if something's implemented in front of us within society. And then they've already got a fucking cure for it. It's like cancers were created through all of our selfish eating and lifestyles and modified foods and sugars and everything. But we've normalized that over time. We love it, Matt. Well, I'm telling you it's fucking wrong, okay? Your children are going to have a 40 fucking year life expectancy because of the laziness and the bullshit that they're going through right now. They're going to live inside a fucking room the rest of their life by design. By God, by that time, we've gone to Mars, Venus, and everywhere, and they ain't never left the house, knowing that when you step outside, it's right there. How the power that they have is amazing to make you not look up, to make you not want to admit that you're wrong. That's the key to success, is admitting failure. But no, this is America, Matt. We ain't got to work. We don't have to research or anything. They're doing all the work for us. Well, they work for us in this whole time for centuries. Each decade and years go by, smaller little things are implemented, laws, until eventually, to where we have a fucking federal organization called FEMA, that can come in and take over the president's authority, can shut down interstates, can move populations, can do whatever they want to do. You have zero rights when that happens, and that's where we are right now. Not until September can Congress actually look at it, supposedly. And you can find all this. They've got it. They'll tell you what we're doing, but they know you will not go look. That website with coronavirus, that shit is insane how far that goes. This whole thing is for the next 2,000 years. Okay? We're in Aquarius. You have to look. Okay? It's not getting better. And we're not. This has to do with astrology and astronomy and the zodiac and the Phoenician and the Sumerians and the Chaldeans and the Canaans and the Canaanites. Let me tell you this again. I'm going to tell you this. Back in the land of Canaan, they used a side of their society worship Baal. And part of this was human sacrifice, was baby sacrifice. And the preachers, or whatever you wanted to call them back then, would burn the babies, and what would happen to Baal, and they would eat certain parts, and over time, that's where the term, they were in Cana and they were worshiping Baal, so they would be called cannibals, cannibalism. See, that's where all that comes from. See, and when you start finding out the real etymology from all this shit, it's like, why have we not been taught about how serious the history of humanity is? Why have we been given everything to just kill ourselves? It's because of this point in time. We're lucky to be here, but we're not, because they know all these little shit that we're going through is they're all little bitty censuses. They're little bitty, you know, finding out how many people's going to do this. You still going to buy this or this or this. You know, they created the obesity and the drug addictions and alcoholism so they can sure as hell take it away. Think about that in 10 years or so. You know, people that's inside are going to die quicker from the medications. People that are drinking all the time, they're not going to be as active. They're going to die quicker. People with obesity, they're not going to be active. They're going to die quicker. Do you see all this death that's not just going to transpire right now, but, you know, in time, very slowly? It's going to be sick and it's going to be disgusting. You know, if people start starving, if they shut down all the meat eventually, you know, can people be vegetarians and eat rice for a while? I can, but I don't know about anybody else. And then you will see, if it gets really, really dire enough, you'll see real cannibalism come back. True savagery, you know, because it's like I've said, when you study this from a mythology point of view and you study the phoenix and stuff, and you know how the phoenix has came into all societies, cultures, all through history, you can follow it all the way back. You know, all societies end up crumbling eventually because it never stops. It always keeps going faster. And we all know what that means in drugs and alcohol and your careers. You get so caught up in your career, you forget about your family. There's 40, 50 years to your fucking company than never looking up. Just you. Because you grew up this way. Well, millions of you grew up poor. It ain't just fucking you. Millions and millions. I'm talking about in the 50s and 60s and 40s and all that shit. You know, we were meant to be poor. We were never meant to have all this shit, and it's all threatened because of our selfish lifestyles. And now what's going to happen is they're going to say, if you want to keep all your shit, then you're going to obey. And 99% of the people will obey. The 1% like me will be shunned. But I'm here to help you. I'm not saying to do what I do. You are in a position to where you're going to have to do certain things in order to save your family, and I'm on your side. Okay? But we have to figure out a plan to work around that shit and to start working on something that you can leave behind to where one day through your genealogy you will be a fucking legend. You know, saying, hey, they started out doing this and now we've got to, just like they did in the beginning of all this, to take it all over. Well, we've got to start doing our homework too to take it back from within. You know, whatever's out here is going, that's not going nowhere. But from what's within, we can change that back to the origin of what it once was, and it's still in there and still in all of us. Whatever's built the pyramids is inside you. Whatever killed all of humanity is inside of you. You know why? Because it depends on what we resonate and marinate inside our minds to pull out what's in our subconscious. If we're always watching murders and bullshit news and all that, guess what? That's how we're going to think. That's an addiction. I'm an expert at it. Psychologist, you need to step down out of my fucking way. You don't know shit about the brain because you've never lived it, and you went to a Jesuit university to get a work permit to hang on a wall and say I'm an expert. Even though you've never went through the experience, I've gone through from the hospitals and the ERs to the psych wards, detoxes, rehabs, all that shit. Well, that's stupid. And it's like, how is that stupid? Do you know what stupid is? Your IQ? Because your IQ is only based on the university/astrological university observatory on what you learn by man, not by experience. Experience is what gets us sober. Experience is what gets you educated on what the fuck you're reading and what you're looking at. Okay? That's a kick in the nuts to all of them, because there ain't none of them. Dr. Phil, Dr. Drew, they're all phonies, because they would be sitting there, you know. Controlled isolation over time will turn into chaos. It's what it is. And they're all over in there going, yeah, you're going to be all right. It takes 90 days for something to become a habit. New York's full-blown Easy E AIDS already. Society will never be the same. We need to grow up, and we need to say, all right, humility hit me today. Love you.